Hi everyone, this is a quick video about the logistics of traveling to the Azores with children. First, to just get this out of the way, there are no drone shots in this video. All those other videos you see out there, they're not false advertising. The Azores really are as beautiful as they look, and once you get there, you'll experience it for yourselves, but there are no drone shots in this one. Okay, so right now there are three main options to getting to the Azores from the United States. The first is you can go direct from Boston to Ponta Delgada year-round via Azores Airlines. The second is to fly direct from JFK in New York City uh, via Delta. That's currently seasonal. The third way to get there is to fly into Lisbon, Portugal, and then fly over to Ponta Delgada, and you can do that on several different airlines. Obviously, that's going to be the longest of the three options. We flew with Delta. When they're flying seasonally, which runs from like May to Labor Day, they have direct flights about 4 or 5 times a week. They are going from New York City to the Azores. They are overnight flights. And then coming home, the flights are early in the morning. The plane that we took, it was newer. It was very nice. The flight was about 5 hours and meals were served. And overall, the flight was a good experience. I won't speak to JFK Airport, but the airport in Ponta Delgada is small but nice. Okay, let's talk about lodging. Um, you have kind of two main options. You can go either the hotel route or the Airbnb VRBO route. Um, where you stay on the island will impact what you pay. But overall, I found the in-season rates to be pretty reasonable. We stayed just east of San Miguel. No, I'm sorry, Ponta Delgada, on the island of San Miguel. The hotels that I researched typically had a maximum capacity of 4 people per room. We are a family of 5, so that didn't work out for us. Instead, we went the Airbnb route. We landed a great place. It was a 2-bedroom place, right across the street from the ocean. It was like, oh, I don't know, 7 stories maybe. Um, it had private parking. It had a pool, and the cost was only around $1,600 for a full week, which I thought was very reasonable. One thing I will note, because we flew direct from JFK and we got in very early, we actually had to wait several hours to get into the place. So you might want to book an extra day so that you can check in right away. We were exhausted by the time the apartment became available. Let's talk about driving around. They drive on the same side of the road as in the United States. Most of your rental cars are going to be manual transmissions. Um, if you have to have an automatic, you're going to pay a premium. The vehicles will be on the smaller side compared to what you typically see in the States. Um, the 3-row vehicles are either going to be very small third row, or what we initially had, which was a giant van. The full size van was difficult to navigate some of the streets because it's like an old European colony. So the structures are built very close to the road, and the roads are very narrow. Driving around for the week, congestion really wasn't an issue. Ponta Delgada can get a little crowded, but I mean, by no means would you consider it heavy traffic. Um, the other thing is, you might feel uncomfortable driving at some of the posted speed limits within the towns because the residences are right up to the road, and there's not a whole lot of margin for error if someone were to step out suddenly or a child were to run out. So I drove a lot of times. I would drive slightly under the speed limit just because of how tight things were. The natives are not super aggressive drivers, but you'll get past if you're going too slow. There is a route around the entire island. I would definitely recommend doing this once. It takes you all the way around, the outer edges of the island. It takes a couple hours to do, but it's definitely worth it. You see the entire island, and you get a sense for everything, and you get some gorgeous views. Traffic circles are everywhere there, so you just have to be aware of that. Um, I did open up my Uber app a few times there. I never saw any drivers floating around. So back when we were there, which was in the fall of 2018, Uber was not present. There are taxis and buses, though. One thing I do want to point out: do not get distracted by all the scenery. You're constantly bombarded with these like amazing vistas because of the volcanic nature of the island, and it's very easy to get distracted. When we were driving on the main route, we did in fact see a single car accident, and there was no cause for the accident. The driver had to have been distracted, um, and they were quite obviously like a tourist. So just be aware of that. Let's talk about dining. So again, we were a family of five. So typically breakfast would run about €12, and everyone would get like a pastry and a drink, a juice or a coffee or tea. Lunch was around €25 for the family. And that would include like a sandwich, a drink, and a side. And then dinner would be a little bit more, be between 65 to €85. But these were like full out dinners. I mean, we're talking appetizers, steak and seafood entrees, and then desserts. My wife would have a drink or two. Obviously, the kids and I would have juice or soda. So, even at that price, though, I found it was pretty good for the quality of the food and the amount of the food and, the type of food that we were getting. Just a little bit more. They do have several supermarkets throughout the island. We went a couple of times, stocked up on things like drinks and snacks and cleaning supplies since we were at an Airbnb. The stores are, like they are back in the States. You'll see a lot of the brands that you see that are common here in the States. Prices were, pretty in line with what you'd expect. There is, the value added tax. And just another note, you'll need to purchase a lot of bottled water to stay hydrated because you're going to be doing a lot of walking and it's going to be hot and humid and you're going to need that bottled water. And lastly, interactions with the residents. The people there are very friendly towards tourists. It's pretty much agriculture and tourism are the two big industries. So, people are very friendly. Virtually everyone speaks some level of English. The younger the person, the more fluent they're going to be. One thing I did not like is smoking is still very common over there. And they still have smoking sections in restaurants, which I haven't seen stateside in probably close to 20 years. And people will smoke around children, which I mean, in the United States is kind of like taboo these days, but over there it's still, they do it without hesitation. And lastly, tipping at restaurants is not expected. So that's it for this. This is just a quick logistics video of traveling over there with a family. We had a great time. I might do a second video of some of the spots that we hit up. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. Thanks a lot.